Okay, IP addressing. What do you remember about IP addressing? Nothing at all. When you were eating food, everything went with it. Hmm? So why were you saying you don't know? After how do you answer questions? You get them from your head. So why are you acting surprised? Okay, IP addressing basically it helps to for communicating. If I want to communicate with you, obviously I have to have a name, and you also have to have a name. So an IP address acts as a name for a particular computer. So so there are two basic versions: IP version 4 and IP version 6. Do you remember that? Yeah. So what do you remember about IPv4? Four octets. Mhm. Okay. Yes. What else? Okay. So yeah, basically that's it. So in the in the four octets, it has 8 values in each octet. That's why they add up to 255, isn't it? And each value is in the eight octets. There are 8 values, so it's 128, 64, 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, 1, which add up to 255. The eight, you know that um, there are 8 bits in each, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. So in each of them, in each octet, there are 8. So in the 8, there are 8 values, which is 128, 64, 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, 1. Mm. So yes. So the total of the octets, how many bits does it have? Bits. Since there are 8 times 4 is what? 32. 32. So there are 32 bits in the total. So you said 8 bits is equals to 1 byte. Yes. I think let me make this more presentable for you to see very well. I'm sure you're seeing it's tiny, isn't it? What about here? Mm, okay. So, yes. Now, with IPv4, there are 3 basic classes which are used, commercial classes. The others are there, but they are mostly for government and military, because initially the internet was designed mostly for military guys. So, but they later incorporated it for human beings like us. Anyway, so for civilians, so there are basically 3 classes: Class A, B, and C. So Class A starts from 10 to 126. Then Class B starts from 128 to 191. Then class C starts from 192 to 223. So that is one thing you have to cram for your exams. I don't know what you're going to do, but you have to cram it. Have you understood that? So the next thing you have to the next thing you have to know about this, there are two parts in an IP address. There's the network part and the host part. You remember that? So each IP has that network and the host part. So whenever you're assigning IPs, you have to know which. By knowing the number on the network part, you're able to notice which class it's from. So then the next thing is so the next thing is what they call subnet mask. So what happens is for the subnet mask is a machine doesn't know that, a computer doesn't know that this is let's say 192.168.20.10. The computer, let me put it in notepad here. Okay, can you see this? Okay, now the computer by default, if you put like an IP like this, the computer by default it cannot tell which class it is. So by putting this subnet mask, when you go to the network span and you go to properties, you remember how to do this? Yes, so are you seeing the subnet mask option here? So by putting that, the computer is able to know by default that this is this particular class. So if I put it like 255 dot 255.255.0, it will know by default it is what? Which class? Class C. Then if I put it like maybe 255.255.0.0, it will know it's which class? Class B. B. Two network parts, two host parts. And this is class A. So by default, if you put that, the computer is able to know that this is this particular class. So have you understood that? So can you, by this, can you know that if I tell you what's the first IP for this, let's say I give you this IP address. I ask you, what's the first IP? What would you say? Do you remember those things? The first IP, last IP, broadcasting. Okay, now each and every IP address, they have ranges. Because if anything has a limit and it has where it starts from, isn't it? each and every year has a beginning and an end. So the same thing with IP addresses, they have a beginning and an end. So in each and every IP address, let's say this one, this is class B, right? So now what happens is, if I say that this dot then the first IP should be .1, reason being it by default 150.0.0.0 is what? Is what? The network address. Yeah. 1 is the first IP. So 150. And this one here, the broadcast is .255. 150.0.255.255. That's the broadcast. Yeah. 0 is the 1 is the first address. Okay. Next thing is the first IP. This is first IP. Now 150.0.255.254 is the what? Is the last IP address. So basically, the computer goes through many iterations in the middle here. So it will go from 150 to 150.0.1 to 150.0.0.254. So when it reaches 254, it goes to the next one. That one is filled up. So it will go to the next one, which is 150.1.1. Why? Because network and the host. When it goes through the same procedure again from 150.0.1.1 to 150.0.1.254, followed by which one? .2.1. But you have to be aware that in the middle here from 1 up to 25, those 254, they're all IPs in the middle there. I just don't want to write all of them at once because it will take us a long time. But in the middle here, so same thing with this, same thing with this. Okay. Okay, so the list goes on and it stops up to this last IP. Are we together? You man, you're aware that I'm recording this for others. Are you aware that I'm recording this for other people? Okay. Anyway, so this is it. Then most of the times you find that in some networks they'll tell you that, oh, our company is big and it requires this particular number of IPs, and you don't want them to connect to other IPs in a particular range. Let's say you say that uh, from 122, I mean from this one, like let's say 150.0.0.1, you want it to stop to like maybe 20 or 30 IPs in the middle there. Then you want it to go to another one, another cubicle of 30 people. You get the point? So you want to separate the cubicles. So you find that that is very common in many networking problems. So what happens is, this is when subnetting comes in. Subnetting is basically dividing a network into different portions. Same IP, but it's still divided into different portions. And the only way of the computer knowing that you are dividing the computers into different portions is through changing your subnet mask. So through changing your subnet mask, by knowing, so by us knowing that, let's say um, we want a particular number of, let's say you want like 6 subnets, isn't it? Let's go with a smaller number, because it's 4 subnets. Okay, so let's say we have 4 subnets. We want to subnet it to 4 subnets, isn't it? So first and foremost, we need to get a subnet mask which is supposed to be able to get over that. So by doing that, you have to first find the capital N. You remember that? The things of capital N, small n. So the capital N is for number of segments. Then the small n is for number of IPs. The number of bits main. So capital N is actually stands for the number of bits borrowed. So what happens? Yeah, are you seeing here? Stands for number of bits borrowed. So what happens is when you get this capital N, you borrow the bits from the IP address. Well, we are going to do it. So so it's 2n, 2 capital N. Okay, this doesn't do it even. It's supposed to be to the power of capital N. I hope you recall that you don't write it wrongly. I may see if I can get. It's recording right now. What? finally. Have you ever used this editor before? Are you seeing even clear? You're not seeing clear. Okay. Yeah, that's the one I'm asking. Are you seeing it clear? So you say 2n is equals to 4 segments. So capital N is equals to 1. Is it 1 or 2? Are you sure? Sixteen, 8, 4, 2, 1. What? In terms of what? I don't know. You people are the ones who rear chickens. That's a lie. I'm not saying you don't have cows. Okay, you have had the chicken now. So it's 2, right? So you said the IP is which one? Okay. So you're dealing with such an IP. So what's happened is, if you want to divide it, is we now know that we are supposed to borrow 2 bits. So what happens is you write this 255.255 for the 2 network parts. Now we know that you're going to borrow from the network parts, isn't it? I mean the host parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, it's easier with the computer. So 1, 2. That's where we're going to start. Yeah. So it's 128 followed by 64, isn't it? 128, 64. So if you add them together, what do you get? 192. Okay. So the subnet mask will be 255.255.192.0. That will be our subnet mask. So if you want to so basically this is what you do. If you want to limit the communication between computers in the first segment, uh, you just go to this network and configurations options. Then you probably go to the Ethernet if you're all using the Ethernet. Then what happens is you change the IP address. So this you press 150.0.0. Maybe 1. Then here, I think by default the subnet mask will be 255.255.0 because it's class B. But since we want to subnet it, we have to put a different IP here. So change it to 255.192. So you press OK. Now by default, what happens is the computer will know that you're assigning it the subnet mask, and it will be dividing the network according to that subnet mask. So this will happen automatically. You won't even need to do it manually. So basically, these calculations we are having, we're trying to figure out what the computer is doing. So the first one was to give it the to find the subnet mask. This next one is to know from the bits borrowed which ones are remaining, and from the ones which are remaining, you're able to pick the to know how many IPs are in each of those different portions you have subnetted. You get my point? So from using from the balance which is remaining, we are able to know how many IP addresses it can be able to give us. Are we together? So what is going to happen is we can press 150 dot maybe I even forgot it. Yeah, we are trying to find the balance. Man, you're not correcting me. So n is equals to 8 plus this remaining one. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So if we remain that n is equals to 14, so try to find 2. So n is equals to what? Do you remember the formula? 2n minus 2 is equals to the number of, look at your screen. Yes. Yeah, so 2 to the power small n minus 2. So 2 is 2 to the power 14 is power 14 minus 2. is equals to 2. So what's the answer? Yes, I'm asking you and you're asking me. Seems you're bored at home. What's the answer? Man, what's happened? Yes. So by doing this, you know that in each of these octets, those are the number of IPs which will be there. So basically, that's it. I've given you a summary of what people learn in subnetting and the networking. So basically, that's it. There's nothing big and special. Yes. Just have to know. But basically, if you know the basics, the rest is easy. If you know which classes are which network do you want, yes. So by the time you've learned those ones, the rest comes easy. The calculations and the calculations, even there, it's not that hard to master the calculations because there are only two of them. There are two formulas for it. So if you know what capital N stands for and the small n stands for, the rest is easy. And you know what they are supposed to be used for. So I guess that's it. Mm. So yes, what did you want? A full lecture about what? Life, Steve Jobs stuff. Uh, apparently, some guys say that Steve Jobs was not an inventor; he was just a thinker. People who create stuff. Was more of a boss kind of. Hmm? But he wasn't creating; he was telling people to create. Anyway, that is an argument for the next day. So basically, that's it. I was hoping to give an okay, the next time you're going to do something else. But we're going to stop here for today.